Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cinderellimouse and today The Sims has released a brand new trailer for Enchanted by Nature. I have seen a fairy, so fairy's confirmed I guess, but I haven't watched the trailer yet, so we're going to watch this in real time together. I might have to replace the music, so just letting you know that there's probably not going to be the original music, and yeah, let's see what this thing is. I'm going to watch the trailer for the first time with you guys, and then we're going to kind of break it down and see like what we can see. We're going to have a read of the article that goes with it. Please excuse me for whatever's happening here. I've been to the Dubai of the North today and it was hot and sweaty and I did my best. Anyway, let's go. Crude again, always me. Okay. Ooh. Okay, sorry, I got excited and I hit pause. Try again. Okay, not all images in pairing game. Okay, fairy confirmed. A rock, wings, tree, shoes, sparkles. That dress looks cute. Oh, it was just a dream. It wasn't real. Enchanted by Nature. I do like the theme. I do like nature themes. I do like things to be enchanted. Oh, have we got like indoor planters? Aspiration, nature norm. That appeals to me. That's my sort of gameplay, to be honest. I love anything to do with like gardening. And that's what I did with fairies in The Sims 3 as well. I used them for my gardening because they were so good for that sort of thing. That's cute. What is that? I think I know what that is. Gonna wait. Oh, he's eating raw flesh. That dude, I love NPCs like that. I hope he's in the game. And that hat, I want that. So you can forage. So that's similar to like the werewolf ability where you can just kind of forage for food, I guess. That's me. Tag yourself. I'm that guy with the flowers in my beard. So you can bathe in the water. Could you already do that? I feel like you got a bit of hygiene from like swimming in the ocean. But I don't think you could specifically. Ailments, sonic sinuses. Ailments sounds a little bit like what we got with Get to Work, but is that a pocket? It's apothecary Todd. Apothecary. I can't say the word. Do you remember him from The Sims 1 making magic? Oh, that is. I love those little boxes. They're really cute. I like the style of that. I have to say, I was not team fairies. Like of all the expansion packs I could have had, I probably wouldn't have chose fairies first. But I like the nature theme. I'm also curious to know what the difference is between. I like this a lot. I know it's more of the same thing, right? But I love herbalism. I love Get to Work and kind of like being a doctor. And this is kind of like a more homeopathic version of that. So I know I'm going to use this for my Sims. The fairies, I don't know if I'm quite as bothered about. I actually like. I'm sorry if you can hear banging. My family are about. It's me! Tag yourself. There I am. I'm that fairy. So confirmed fairies can go little. I don't know if you can play as a little fairy or if it. What is that banging? I think it's my neighbours. Sorry if I'm being loud. More fairies. So we get the gameplay trailer as well soon. And then you get some pre-order content. It looks pretty chill, nothing there that I'm overly excited for, which is good actually because I don't like the limited time content. Okay, there was a lot that was happening there. What do I want to say? I was not team fairies. So if you were team fairies, if this is like, yes, finally, this is what I've been waiting for, like I'm really happy for you. Like I love when people get the content that they're asking for. I am like, where are my cars? Where are my bands? Like, I think I would have been. Because is it just fairies or is it just that we've just seen fairies? I'm trying to get my thoughts in order here. Like how do I want to explain what I'm feeling here? Fairies were probably one of my least favourite occults from The Sims 3 and from previous games. I don't hate them, but it's not something that I'm personally like, I have to have that. I think it will be nice to kind of complement supernatural gameplay. Let me just find like a better screen to kind of pause on here. Hold on. Let's go with Apothecary Todd because I'm so excited that he's back. Like that is Apothecary Todd. That is a reference to The Sims 1 making magic. Yeah. So I'm happy that they're back, because I do think they're going to complement, like, you know, if you want to have like a whole vampire, spellcaster, werewolf, like of course you've got to have fairies in the mix. It's like a Sims classic. I think because it's an expansion pack and all the other occults, like the main occults, because obviously we've got things like mermaids and aliens as well, but werewolves, spellcasters and vampires all were in a game pack, not an expansion pack. And so I'm like, well, why have they given fairies an expansion pack? Like, what else is there? Because I can't imagine that they would have gone so heavy and so deep on the fairies that they would warrant an expansion pack in comparison to the other 3 occults that did. Does that make any sense? I don't know if I'm explaining that well. So I feel like the Sims team are really going to have to justify why this is an expansion pack with like other content. Personally speaking, and I don't know, right, we've only got this one trailer to like reference. I think I would have really liked something that felt a bit more expanded. I'm really into playing Baldur's Gate at the moment and kind of Dungeons and Dragons, and I think it would have been really interesting to have had an expansion pack that felt a bit like a mix of Sims Medieval and kind of like Baldur's Gate, where, you know, you had not just fairies, but you had elves and you had maybe like a kind of goblinoid character as well. So I'll be interested to kind of like get into Cass and see, you know, like Fae, rather than it being fairies, I would have liked a Fae expansion pack. And then I feel like it would have felt like it made sense to me, like I'm getting more than just fairies. You know, like you think about people who love to like Lord of the Rings and like the elves and the fantasy races from that. So yeah, I'm curious to see how they've handled it, like, because obviously fairies are going to have some sort of ability that's linked to like fairy form, right, that's linked to that specific occult. But then like what about like the magic and the skills around that? Because like I say, what if like if I'm a fairy, am I forced to have wings, or can I not have wings and say they're an elf? Like, how flexible is this system is kind of what I'm asking now. Again, I would have loved something that felt like a Sims Medieval expansion pack. I think that would have been really appealing to me personally. But having said that, I did like fairies in The Sims 3, even though it wasn't my go-to thing. And I remember doing like the perfect garden challenge with a fairy because fairies were so helpful to gardening. I know we've had a lot of gardening content. This is something I've seen people talking about online, where people are like, more gardening content. Yeah, but a lot of Simmers love gardening content. And I know like some people are frustrated. They're like, this isn't my thing. Not every expansion pack has to be for every single person. Like I say, this is probably not exactly what I would have done personally had I had like my choice. But like for the people who really wanted fairies and who really enjoy that kind of content, like I'm happy for them. I hope we get bands at some point. I hope we get cars at some point. Yeah, and I don't know, like the apothecary aspect, apothecary, I don't know which way around it is. I get it mixed up. I do like that, and I like that from Making Magic, where you had Apothecary Todd, and I really liked like the fairy from The Sims 1 Making Magic. So it's nostalgic to me. It's like, it is in keeping with The Sims. It is something that has existed in other Sims universes. Sorry, there's a tiny fly flying around now, if you can see that. So it does make sense that they've added this back in the game. I just wish they'd expanded it and they'd made it something that felt really new, and especially because it's an expansion pack. I don't know. We'll see. Let's go to the webpage and read the details. Okay, so here we are. So it says, this is on the Sims 4 official news site. It says, become one with the natural world in the Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature. And again, I do love, so again, if I am playing, because I have supernatural games and I have realistic games, normally when I play off camera, my game is like more realistic leaning. Currently I'm playing kind of like, almost like a Sim My Life, but a what if with my Sim My Life. So it's kind of like this satirical version of my own family that I'm kind of playing with and kind of going, well, what if I did this and what if I did that? And so it's very realistic. And so this wouldn't fit with that. I have to say though, I am actually playing in Henford upon Bagley, and I could totally see this pack fitting with Henford on Bagley. I almost feel like fairies should be in Henford on Bagley already, which is the one that came with Cottage Living. So yeah, I've got a mixed feeling about it. There's probably aspects that I'm gonna use in my own gameplay. Like, I'm probably gonna have normal Sims who are just kind of like wellness hippies and really into kind of like herbal remedies. I like the herbalism, but it has kind of like limited uses. So I like the idea of having cures that anyone can do externally from the doctor career, because currently you have the illnesses that come with Get to Work, and you have to actually play as a doctor in order to be able to like properly like cure those. Like, you can drink orange juice and you can drink water at home, but it's really tied into that career. So if this is a bit more open and a bit more universal, you know, I could have any kind of wellness sim open up a like a herbalism apothecary shop and kind of use things like small businesses or Get to Work and retail to kind of like sell those cures, where with Get to Work, you can't sell the cures, you can't sell the remedies because it's all interaction based. So while I can see some people are kind of saying, this definitely feels like a repeat of something we already have. That's a criticism I've seen people saying online, which was based on a leak, by the way. So I was like, I don't want to comment on leaks. I'm going to wait for the official content so I can like, so I'm not kind of like being in my bonnet about something that may or may not exist, you know? Yeah, the apothecary, I feel like it's filling a gap, a bit like how small businesses, right? I don't know if you feel this. I really love small business and I love retail, right? I love that. I'm going to use the different systems for different things. And yes, it does feel a bit like a repeat of one feature, but it kind of small businesses fills a gap that I felt was missed by the retail system. Like, I can do different things with it. And so I kind of feel the same about this. Like, yes, okay, we've had herbalism, we've had the doctor career, but actually being an apothecary is kind of a different way of doing it to me. It's doing it the way that I would rather have done it than the way that it already exists. I explain myself so badly. Again, I've been out all day and I've been on a really hot, sweaty bus, so please, like, give my brain a break. Anyway, it says, I like the name of the expansion pack, Enchanted by Nature. It's like, it makes me think of that Taylor Swift song, you know, like, I was enchanted to meet you. I'm going to try and focus. Can you hear that? I should probably take my headphones out and then I'm not shouting over things. Can you hear that? It sounds like the soft whisper of Mother Nature calling you to a charming new world. Okay, do you know what? Honestly, it is my type of content. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, never mind. It's actually just nature calling from a privy bush. So that sounds to me like a woohoo bush. I don't know if they've got a different thing for that or not. Anyways, the Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature expansion pack welcomes you all to Innisgreen. It went to me because I'm from Manchester in the UK, and we say in it and all that. It's like, in it green. It's so green, isn't it? Innisgreen, a beautifully lush and wonderful land where Sims and nature live in perfect or chaotic harmony. If you're ready to answer, I like that they have actually added chaotic there, because, you know, if you want to be a little chaos gremlin, if I think about kind of like what I know about the history of like fairies and fairy tale stories, there is that dark aspect. If you think of like the Brothers Grimm, right, they do have that kind of Hans Christian Andersen, like the fairy stories are traditionally quite dark. It's not like the Disney princess Cinderella, right? It's like troubling. And I think of like Shakespeare, right, in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Puck the fairy, who's like really mischievous, and he's like, I spilt the milk in the milkmaid's lap and things like that. So I think it's interesting to say you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be a good helpful fairy, you can also be like a little chaos gremlin, which is good at gremlins. I would have liked gremlins. Anyway, it says, if you're ready to answer nature's call, it does sound like you need a pee. Let's dig deeper into the whimsical soil of Innisgreen. A sprinkle of fairy dust, please. Wait, what is this? A sprinkle of fairy dust, please. Is it like a poem? In his green, an emphasis on green. It's all about balance and recovery. Let nature living come naturally. You make the Sims community builds featured in Enchanted by Nature from. Okay, so I don't understand this bullet point thing that they're doing, but we've had community members build the lots for expansion packs for quite some time. I think most of the packs where we've had a world have been built by creators since kind of like, I remember the incident of little Simsy pointing out that one like making magic house didn't have a back door and things like that, and from then it's been like, maybe we'll let the professionals do it, but the professionals are the Sims community. So yeah, we've got Cracked Cyber and the Sim Scroll. I'm not familiar with their work, so I'm sure they've done an amazing job, but yeah, let's keep looking. I would also say, based more or less purely on this image, I mean, that dress is pretty fantastic. That is really, really nice. I, again, probably would have gone for something that felt maybe a little bit less... It feels a little bit like a Barbie movie fairy style, or like a Disney movie fairy style. It almost feels quite childlike to me, and cartoonish, which I know The Sims 4 has a cartoonish vibe, but I think I would have gone for something that felt a bit more medieval and fantasy in style. Again, a little bit more like the clothing you'd find in Baldur's Gate, or in, what is it? The Ring That Will Rule Us All. My brain's gone to sleep. Oh, those movies, the Gollum movies, where it felt a little bit more realistic rather than something that feels like it would appeal to like a 4-year-old buying a fairy Barbie. Having said that, I did have these like fairy dolls when I was growing up in like the 80s, and they were so cute. But again, I feel like they were a slightly more toned down version of what I'm seeing right now on this screen. Having said that, they normally go for the most dramatic pieces for the promotional images, and then you normally get into the game and you do find things that are a little bit more wearable, a bit more everyday. I think that's what I want to say. I would have preferred things that felt a bit more everyday. So for example, that really nice butterfly top that we got in one of the packs, that's really cute. It would have been really appropriate to this pack. So something that feels a little bit more realistic and less... I say like I want fantasy clothes, but I want like realistic fantasy clothes, like medieval in style. I feel like this is maybe a tiny bit over stylized, I think is my personal taste. But yeah, like I say, I remember like that recent kit that we got, a couple of recent kits that we got where I looked at the promotional images and I was like, oh, I don't think I like this. And then I got it into game and I played around with it myself and I was like, actually, do you know what? I'm vibing with this. They've got like a lot of like these interesting tattoos. Of course, we can paint on Sims now with the paint system, but I wonder if these apply like tattoos. She's got like a cool... Oh, look, she's got little horns. So I wonder if these are like hairstyles or like hats. These little tiny fairies here. So again, I wonder how much you can do as a small fairy. I wonder if you can purposefully be small and travel around the world and kind of exist in that form, or if it's like specific actions that turn you small. Yeah, curious about that. I can give or take the gnomes. I'm kind of sick of gnomes, to be honest. I would have liked to have played as a gnome, like to have had a gnome form for Sims. Again, like Baldur's Gate have those different fantasy shapes super well. A sprinkle of fairy dust, please. Okay, so it was just the headers, so we're getting more information. Mother Nature has a fairy... The puns are just confusing my tired brain, Sims team. Mother Nature has a very interesting proposition, should you choose to accept it. So maybe Mother Nature is like an actual sim, or maybe it's something that you interact with, like maybe you interact with a tree and you'll get like an assignment from Mother Nature. With her guidance, Sims can become the fairy they were destined to be. So you become a fairy through gameplay, it sounds like. And once they complete their transformation, they'll have the choice to flutter down to 2 very different paths. Again, the puns are a bit much. There's the harmonious fairy, a benevolent winged helper who wants to aid other living things find health and balance, and the discordant fairy, a flying mischief maker that enjoys stirring up a little chaos and making everyday life harder for the Sims around them. The fairy path is yours to fly with wings to match. So it sounds like there's two specific routes. I like the quite flexible systems of, for example, the werewolves, where you get to choose your abilities, and you can just choose from a selection, and maybe it'll have different like brackets, like different like types of ability, but you kind of get to choose how good or evil you are. What worries me about reading this is it's making me think of The Sims 2 witches. Now, there was some controversy about how witches were implemented in The Sims 2. I believe one of the people in charge just didn't like the idea of adding them, so they were really half-hearted. And they had this, and again, don't take that as fact, it's kind of rumour, but they had, the way they played was that they felt really, really polarized, and you would do one spell and they would suddenly switch and they would change outfit and they would become suddenly evil, and it's like they'd do another spell and suddenly they were good, and it felt really, really polarized. And so because it says there's two distinct fairy paths, I am worried that that feels limited to me rather than a more open, flexible system. But again, we need to see how this actually plays. You know, when I get it in game, I'll kind of see how I feel, and we'll kind of meet again and we'll kind of talk about it again. Yeah, harmonious fairies are benevolent winged helpers who want to aid. That's the route that I'll probably take. I tend to lean towards good characters in The Sims, but you can be a mischief maker, which is what I would expect, because they normally do that. They normally have like a good route and a bad route with The Sims features. Fairies can develop abilities that let them nurture plants, which again is something that I would have wanted to have back from The Sims 3, because that's how I played with fairies in The Sims 3. Like, they were my peak gardeners. And I think about things as well, like the film Fantasia, which was a Disney film, where the fairies were going along and they were helping plants to bloom, and you know, you had like you had seasonal fairies, so that's something that I would really love to see, you know, like an ice fairy or a fire fairy, or you know, a sun fairy or a dewdrop fairy. So I would love to have a lot of flexibility with the themes that I create for my fairies. And again, I would love to have a lot of diverse kind of spells and abilities, so that it could be different types of fairies. Again, like a classic imp would be good. I do think anything fae does tend to have a nature tie-in. So again, people are sort of saying, oh, more gardening, more nature. And I'm like, well, obviously, what kind of fairies were you expecting? Like, disco fairies? That's not maybe it's a thing, but it's not what you instantly think of. So of course it's got a gardening theme. They can manipulate objects, which makes me think of like the Simray. Change the mood of others and more. Change the mood of others sounds interesting, and again, that could be very helpful. There's different ways of doing that already in the game, but maybe this is, I don't know, we'll see. But be wary of emotional starvation. Rather than living off food, fairies absorb emotions to survive. Interesting. Again, it kind of makes sense. It feels very fae for that to be a feature. And of course, The Sims 4, the fact that Sims have emotions is kind of the main feature of the game. So it makes sense that they take that route. They can either get them directly off of The Sims or from bottled emotion potions. Failure to do so may welcome their untimely demise. I hope that system's not too demanding. You'll be able to customize your fairy look to your own fairy liking. They say fairy way too much in this. It's 4 times in that single paragraph. With a, like, they could have just said your look to your own liking. It doesn't have to keep saying fairy. With an extensive array of wings, again, I'd like to have an option to not have wings. That's something that we couldn't do in The Sims 3, and it really bothered me. Skin tones, ears. Hopefully we do get more skin tones. Maybe even like some kind of slider. I doubt it, but I do, when I want to make kind of fantasy Sims, I don't like the existing colour palette because I find it too bright and cartoonish and garish. So I was really, really happy actually when businesses and hobbies added the tattoo feature, because you can go back and see my video where I kind of might make like a drow skin tone, and you can see how kind of like bluey grey it is. It's a lot more muted, it's a lot more subtle, it's a lot less cartoonish, it's much more in line with, like, again, Baldur's Gate is just peak for me, so more of kind of what I would like for my own tastes. A more mature, let's say a more mature visual than the kind of young cartoonish style that The Sims 4 can often take. So yeah, well, I would like to see more skin tones. Ears, teeth, I'd love to get laser lids. More teeth is cool as well. Head accessories. So is that like a new category? A bit like, do you remember when we got High School Years on My Wedding Stories, and it gave us like the corsages, and they were like an accessory that you could put on any top. So I wonder if these are kind of like an accessory that you can put on any hair. Glowing tattoos. Yeah, so I did say I wonder if they're tattoos. And more. Fairies can even use their fairy charm to deliver a special woohoo, which I was wondering, but I wasn't going to say what was going on up here. So interesting to see that. So new woohoo spot confirmed, I suppose, or new woohoo technique confirmed. Do not worry, non-fairy Sims. You also have some magical fun with fairy dust, using it to enchant plants, bring gnomes to life, and more. Again, I could give or take on the gnomes, but enchanting plants, if that helps with gardening, I would definitely end up using that. So whether your fairy Sim choose, but is that it? Like, if you're a non-fairy, like, is that it? Is that all? Because again, it's an expansion pack. I don't always want to play with fairies to get new features. So whether your fairy Sim chooses to sow wonder or spark chaos, you're a Sim with that fucking pun again. Interesting neighbours, just the beginning of your fairy tale. So this image was leaked. I have seen this floating around on social media. So it looks like 3 different neighbourhoods. This one perhaps looks a little bit more realistic. This one looks very, very kind of magical and fairy themed. This one, again, does look very magical. Maybe this looks a little bit more countryside. So I guess you've got like different neighborhoods depending on how magical you want it to feel. It says emphasis on green. The 3 neighbourhoods make up Innis Green. Init Green! Each one connecting you to nature in their own unique way. There's the coast of Ardmore, a peaceful seaside village where everyday Sims enjoy life's simple pleasures. Stepping out of town brings us to Spoostery Grove, a vibrant brand. I don't know why I laughed. I was laughing at my own voice because I'm tired. So I'm just kind of like, stepping out of town brings us to Spoostery Grove, a vibrant blend of, like, I'm so monotone because I'm tired. I'm kind of on autopilot. A vibrant blend of friendly shops, cozy homes, and draping ivy. I would love more ivy. If we get ivy as a decoration for the outside of houses, and a really good one where it's kind of like it goes in all different directions, I would be happy about that. Because I feel like the ones we have, the pieces are limited. That blur the line between civilization and the natural world. It would have been really nice to, and again, I'm not saying it doesn't have this, but it would be nice if the pack had some kind of storyline talking about how nature's trying to reclaim stuff, or like, you know, the building is kind of like, I want to be politically careful about what I'm saying here. Say like the fairy realm, that's this natural place, you know, like if the town's expanding, like is that a threat to the natural world? So it would have been interesting if we'd have had some kind of almost like eco lifestyle, you know, where you have the if you do a lot of like rocket science and things that are bad for the environment, it kind of gets like really polluted and dirty. So it's probably going to be actually an interesting pack to combine with eco lifestyle, I would imagine. And then if you kind of like do good things, you do a lot of gardening and kind of like green things, it gets a lot nicer. I would have liked a magical scale system for the world and for the environment. I think that could have been really cool if it's not already included. It's kind of hinting at it, but not explicitly saying it. And finally, we venture deep into the magical forest of Everdew, a thick and mysterious woodland humming with enchanting energy. Innis Green is full of new adventures, skills and traits too. You can balance moods and discover natural remedies with your apothecary table. This is probably going to combine well with wellness and spa day, which again is something that I use a lot. So I could definitely see some of my Sims already combining these elements. Seek out Mother Nature and embark on a transformative journey to becoming a fairy. I'm worried because it keeps repeating that, right? It's kind of like they're talking about fairies an awful lot. So I'm kind of like, and fairies, and be your best plant parent and fill your home with a new array of house plants. Or that's something I noticed in the trailer, that they were kind of doing gardening on planters that were on surfaces. So if that's the case, I'm very excited for that because it's something I would definitely like to see. It's something I've kind of modded as well, kind of off camera, and played around with myself. So, but like the animations were funky, but that's something I'm definitely interested in. Or unlock your inner nature nomad to dwell among the trees and live off the land. I mean, me. Not so much living off the land. I would not survive if I had to live off the land. I have got, actually, having said that, right here, just in this plant pot next to me, I've got like these berries. I've got more of them. And I don't know if they're cherries. Don't know what they are, but I picked them off a tree. I was excited. I was like, they look like cherries, and I picked them and I was like, I'm gonna go home and plant them. And then they're just basically getting all like wrinkly and gross in the plant pot next to me. That one's still quite shiny. I did Google it and like what I'm meant to do, but I don't know if they're actually cherries. They might actually even be plums, but they've just not grown. I plucked them too soon. I'm gonna have to go back to that tree and see what they turn into. I don't know. I'm always trying to plant stuff. I'm not going to show you my avocado, which is next to it, because I planted an avocado seed and it's not doing well. I think that's why I love gardening so much in The Sims, because I'm so bad at it in real life. So anything like I'm saying, like fairies are going to give me the ability to like garden better. I'm like, yay! Because I'm not green fingered in real life at all. It's like you do that, don't you? The things that you don't do in real life, you kind of live out those fantasies in The Sims. And my fantasy is being able to grow plants, apparently. Yeah, so live off the land, not good at, but I love trees. These little boxes are really cute. I hope that I can sell those. These look like maybe like the apothecary herbal remedies. So it does look like we can place them on shelves, which again is like, are they compatible with the Get to Work retail system and small businesses and the kind of sales shelves and stalls that we have? This plant looks like it's having an emotional reaction. Have you seen those TikToks where people are kind of like, I can talk to the tree. Look, if I talk to the tree, it comes closer to me. And it's kind of like, it's probably someone like wibbling the branch off camera. And they're like, yes, come to me, tree. Have you seen those? I don't know if I believe them, but I'm going to be out there talking to trees and seeing if it's true. I will get back to you on that. So yeah, maybe, oh, look, he has some sort of ailment. This is what I'm actually probably most excited for, to be honest. Like the ailment system and the wellness and things like that. Emotional regulation. I'm just going to use it with Spa Day and I'm going to meditate and be happy. I hope that it has cross-pack compatibility. I am praying for that. I will again test that for you. Let me know if you've got questions in the comment box down below, because as soon as I get back on my hands on the pack, I'm going to be testing all the things. So cross-compatibility questions, let me know, get them in early. Any questions about the pack, let me know and I'll get those answered for you when I get my hands on this, which again, hopefully will be soon. Some cute decor. I do like this kind of rustic style decor. Again, I don't know how taken I am currently with the clothing. This little belt though with the leaf, that is very nice. See, I like subtle details. So that belt with the leaf thing, love that. Love that so much. The shape of that t-shirt's cute, but again, it's all very vibrant. Anyway, going back to Build Buy, yes, I like this. This is kind of what I remember from The Sims 3 as well. Like, do you remember the store packs that had that kind of natural, like, sculpted wood vibe? Like that gorgeous bed that we had. I do like this. I think there was like a cottage kitchen type pack as well, which I really, really loved. It was like a storybook kitchen or something like that. So I do really like this. It is to my taste. Oh, look, it's like a stag. Oh, that's really pretty. That looks like medieval art. See, again, if they'd have gone like really medieval with it, I would have been so happy. Anyway, keep going. It's all about balance. Living in tune with nature is more than just playing in dirt and hugging trees. Damn it. I've got literal videos and photos of me hugging trees. I love hugging trees. It means respecting the natural world and promoting a balanced coexistence. Living in his green, Sims must become emotionally grounded and find that balance, or welcome the chaos. When Sims start to lose their balance and become imbalanced, again, this sounds like it's going to combine really well with wellness, and I hope that I can like meditate to keep my balance. Life can get a little harder to navigate. So for example, one may acquire new skills at a slower rate. That's really interesting, because if you're unbalanced, if your emotions are all over the place, if you're going through something like grief, so again, I wonder if it's going to tie into like life and death and the grief system. And like if you're grieving, you'll be more emotionally irregulated. Maybe if like big things happen, you have a big breakup, you get your partner's cheating, you know, something like that, a parent dies, you know, and you become really emotionally irregulated. It does make sense that, you know, doing your job is going to be harder. Focusing on learning something is going to be harder. So that, I like that. And that's the sort of thing as well that I'm looking for. With it being an expansion pack, I'm like, how does this relate to like everyday gameplay? If I'm not playing with a fairy, if I've got a totally realistic game, what's the point of having this pack, right? And so where this comes in, like adding and layering on those things, where, let me think of things that you have in the game already. So for example, just that, like managing your Sims. Like we have the emotion system, right? We have traits that make you imbalanced, but this is taking it like a step further and having like a whole system for it. So yeah, I'm interested in this. This sounds really quite appealing to me. For example, one may acquire new skills at a lower rate, and their everyday needs may become harder to solve. Maybe you can't sleep because you're so emotionally dysregulated. And if a Sim enters the very imbalanced territory, that's when ailments start to show up. Oh, so this is how you get ailments. So you get, which makes sense as well. If you're really going through something and, you know, it's rough emotionally, you start to get stressed and then you start to get sick. So this makes a lot of sense. This is really interesting to me. And then you're sick because you're emotionally regulated, you get sick. And then because you're sick, you need to go and get the apothecary stuff. So that makes sense to me. I like that. Like the cause and effect of it. Like the greenie meanie. With this ailment, the Sims will learn and complete gardening tasks faster than normal. Yay. So it's actually beneficial. So if you're a gardener, you might want to get the green meanie sickness, but they're constantly angry and prone to outbursts that are off-putting to nearby Sims. I had a Sim and he was a pre-made. I think he was from like Dragon Valley. What was that world called? The one with dragons. And he was a grumpy gardener. But they're constantly angry and prone to outbursts that are off-putting to nearby Sims. And that's really interesting as well, because say you had a werewolf, right? You can have a werewolf who really likes gardening, like Christopher Volkov from the Werewolf Pack. You know, and then they've got like the werewolf rage going on, and then they get the green meanie, and then, you know, they're really good at gardening, but they're like, leave me alone. You could make a really interesting Sim with that. And that's just one of many. There's emotional void, simoleon fever, and sonic sinuses, to name a few. So actually that's really interesting. The idea of like, maybe each ailment has a positive and a negative. So for example, like simoleon fever, maybe you're more likely to get money, maybe you earn raises, maybe you find money scattered around, but you know, maybe you're more likely to overheat and die. So that could be really interesting. So say you're going for like a promotion, you could get an ailment that's going to help you to move up the career ladder. My face looks puffy. I've got a new foundation on and it's like a puffing one, and I just feel really like it's distracting me. But yeah, so like I don't know, like, so but then like you get that promotion and then you cure it. I like the strategy. I think that's what's appealing to me here, like the strategy to it. Like, it's not just like, I'm sick, cure it. It's like, I'm sick, but this could be to my advantage for a short period of time. And then like, maybe you want to try and get sick, you want to try and get a certain illness. How interesting. I wonder if they can be like contacted like through other Sims, you know, like if I've got green meanie, are you gonna get green meanie? You know, like if Sims kiss, are they gonna pass it on that way? Emotional void sounds interesting. Sonic sinuses, you sneeze and blow your house down. But imbalance, it's like, that sounds like a superhero power, you know, like sneeze. So maybe this is a way of having, like, green meanie as well. It sounds like the Incredible Hulk. So maybe it is kind of like a superpower. Like, I don't know. I'm curious about learning more about that. But imbalance isn't the end. I'm a Libra. Don't talk to me about imbalance. Balanced only here. It's simply the beginning of a new journey. Ailments can vanish and moods can improve with cures and elixirs. I'm so excited about this, honestly. With crafted from the new apothecary table. Apothecary. It's got the in the middle. Apothecary table. With special ingredients like the lightning root and aura blossom found while gardening and foraging. So we're getting new ingredients, but it doesn't necessarily say that they are plants that we can grow ourselves. I would expect, that's something that I've not really seen mentioned. I would have really, really loved like traditional, realistic plants. Like, you know, like when we got Discover University in The Sims 3, what's it called? University Life in The Sims 3, and it came with so many new like gardening plants. Like we had like things like lavender and chamomile. I know we've got some of these in Outdoor Retreat, but there's a lot that we don't have, right? It came with a load of like coffees and like, you know, things that you could use for tea. So I would have really, really liked a lot of kind of like actual realistic like herbal things. So things like ginger, you know, or cinnamon or licorice. I would have really loved like real herbal, like, what is it called? It's like something, I said it like at the beginning of the thing and I've forgotten the word now. So alongside that, I would expect a few things like, you know, like the life fruit from, or the flame fruit from The Sims 3 World Adventures, where they're not realistic. They're kind of like a fantasy thing, but something that's really, really special. So I definitely like the idea of having some that are unique kind of supernatural plants, but I would have really liked a good set of like real herbal plants that we have in real life. I don't know why The Sims 4 is so reluctant to add new harvestables. I feel like they're really, really shy about it. Where I feel like we got so many in The Sims 3. It's like every single new world we got, we were getting new harvestables for a while. And, you know, like Sims packs as well, like store packs, we'd get like, you know, lemons and oranges. And there's so many like fruit and veg that we don't have. And they're so keen on giving us recipes, but then they don't give us the ingredients for the recipes. I think other than kind of like, you know, we got like avocados in Jungle Adventures and like, you know, what else? Like, they're so shy about giving us harvestables and I don't understand it. As somebody who modded new harvestables into the game for The Sims 3, and I love that, it's really weird that they don't do it. Don't you think? Is it just me that's sad about that? But we're getting lightning root and aura blossom, but it says that they're ingredients. It doesn't say that they're new plants. So do you only get them through foraging, or can you cultivate them yourself? Sims can follow intricate recipes for treatments with fantastical effects, and with the right amount of practice, one can take on the elixir enthusiast aspiration or become a naturopath. So there's an aspiration, elixir enthusiast, which again sounds like a gameplay aspiration rather than a personality aspiration. A naturopath is a new profession that serves to cure fellow Sims of their curious ailments. So when the Sims call it a profession rather than a career in The Sims 4, it's normally active. Careers can, sometimes they can be semi-active, like work from home careers. Some of them can be like I don't know, what else did they call a profession? I feel like the professions are like, you know, like the self-employed thing. So there's like photographer, there's like an at-home writer, like something to do with tech. So yeah, I think this is going to be more of a gig-based system. So hopefully from home, because I think, you know, we had small businesses, which was like you run your business from home. So it would be really, really nice if this also was something that you could do from your home lot. And those two packs supported each other. Achieving balance, however, Achieving balance, however, may require a little luck. Sims living in his green may experience good, ordinary, or bad luck. So this is another system. So the major kind of core systems seem to be fairies and whatever skill tree they've got, emotions, ailments, and luck. Balance, sorry, not emotions, balance. Yeah. Good, ordinary, or bad luck, which in turn may affect their career, love life, cooking, foraging. I hope we can turn this system off, because it sounds like the kind of system that I would love to play with sometimes, but not all the time. I think sometimes it could be very annoying and distracting, where sometimes I think I'd probably like to just kind of like not have that feature on. So hopefully there's a toggle for this. Career, love life, cooking, foraging, and other interactions or tasks. I would expect it to be I would expect it to apply to like most things that my Sims did. Luckily for you, there are 2 luck charms that can be found, purchased, or made. I like that we can make them ourselves at the apothecary table. That's a really cool thing, which will modify your Sims' luck for good or bad. So like rabbit's feet, and like what else is like a lucky charm? Like maybe like clovers, like a cute little clover necklace would be so cute. Now you can have to ask yourself, will your Sims seek balance, or will they embrace the chaos of an unbalanced life in nature? Interesting. Yeah, so she's bathing. So that's interesting, because that looks like an actual pond rather than like an open expanse of water, and she's having a bath in there. He's foraging, and she's dealing with like the house plants. I do really like this like house plant feature. I'm kind of, it's such a simple thing, but I'm like genuinely excited for it. Sorry, excuse me. Let natural living come naturally. Step outside and make yourself at home, whether you're honing your natural living skill or seeking the nature nomad aspiration. So that's another aspiration. So natural living skill is a skill. So I figured this is going to be a bit like werewolf stuff, but without being a werewolf. So, you know, like how werewolves can get the perks where they sleep on the ground and they like forage for food and that sort of thing. Like they lick themselves clean, because I really like that for werewolves. I don't know if this, I'm a little bit worried that this is going to kind of like almost neutralize the point of being a werewolf and make that feel less special. But it's nice to have different routes to be able to do these same things, because I really do like werewolves just being able to sleep anywhere on the ground. So nature nomad aspiration in his green gives Sims the chance to eat, bathe, sleep, and thrive entirely off the land. Forget modern comforts. This would be nice as well for like if you had a Sim in the military career, I think, to learn how to survive off the land. A bit like Bear Grylls. So maybe like going camping in Granite Falls, like, and learning how to actually like survive in a survival situation, from eating freshly caught fish and sleeping in the grass. So I think people would have understood this in terms of like if we had like an apocalypse pack, you know, like something where it's kind of like you actually have to survive and do survival stuff. I think people have an urge for that. I can see why it fits here. I just don't know if it'd be like received better in a pack like that. You know, kind of like a Hunger Games, you know, you've got to forage. From eating freshly caught fish. And again, I love that werewolves can just kind of eat a fish. But I think most Sims would probably cook it first. Like, it's weird to me that they can do that if they're not a werewolf. And again, it kind of feels like it's taking a feature away from werewolves. Sleeping in the grass, to foraging for apothecary ingredients and summoning a privy bush when nature calls. And it'd be cool as well if you could use like, you know, the crow from Life and Death, or like cats and dogs, and like send them out foraging for you. Be interesting as well if, you know, you could have like a werewolf and a fairy and that complement. So you could have a werewolf who'd go out foraging and they'd come back with apothecary stuff. That would also be helpful. I'd like that kind of cross compatibility. Every new discovery and experience brings your Sim closer to self-reliance. For those not quite ready to give up hot showers and cozy beds, me, I hate camping. You can try the plant parent life instead and welcome a collection of new living houseplants inside your humble abode. They're not just decoration like they've been in the past. They'll need water, care, and constant companionship. Okay, so they're a new type of plant. So they're not, I was wondering if it was kind of like, you know how you have like the normal planters and you can plant like a strawberry bush outside? I was wondering if you could have like a mini strawberry bush inside. That is what I was looking for, but it sounds like this is something different. You'll even be able to place them on shelves, tables and floors to transform your home into a tranquil garden sanctuary. I do like that. That sounds quite fun to me. Do you aspire to be an elixir enthusiast, a nature nomad, or... So there's more that they've not told us yet. Yeah. We've partnered with creators, the Cyber Kyber, the Sim Scrolls, Nina Schmidt and Sandra Piker to build an array of captivating and unique lots. So you can see the lots that they've created here. It is the type of fairy style that I would expect based on The Sims 3. So yeah, I could definitely see myself building in this style in the Realm of Magic world as well. Yeah, this is very cute. It does feel like the sort of things that I was building in Glimmerbrook. It's cute. I do like the style. It'd be nice to complement like cottage living as well. This is very cool. It's like a tree house. That's really cool. Okay. Along the outskirts of Everdew lies Granamore Residential. So this is talking about the lots in the world. I don't think... You can read that if you want to. I don't kind of want to make this video too long, and that sounds like there's quite a lot more stuff there. I'm going to go back to the trailer and we're going to do it kind of like slow-mo. So let me go over here and we'll go to settings and playback speed, the slowest we possibly can, and I'm going to turn the music off and we're going to see what we can see. So I'm going to have to try and spot the features. Is it playing? I don't even know if it's playing. It's playing! So this is the treehouse lot. This is really cool looking to me. I'm sorry, it does say HD and it's kind of blurry. I don't know if that's intentional. So we're getting some new makeup there, it looks like. Are they new earrings? So this is the headpiece thing that they were saying. That's like a flower crown. So I think that is actually separate to the hair. That rock looks interesting. I wonder if that's going to be like how you connect to Mother Nature and like speak to her. Fairy wings, I don't love the style of those. I would have preferred something. They almost look like, those specific fairy wings to me look like, you know, what you wear when you're 4 years old and you put like the little fairy wings on your back. Like, they don't look realistic to me. These are like little fairies, so this must be like the aura tree or something that was mentioned. So there's new shoes. They're okay. I can't see myself getting a huge amount of use out of some of these more fantastical elements. These big mushrooms are interesting, kind of gives Underdark vibes. The hairstyle's pretty cute. This dress is nice. I like this thing she's got on her arm. That looks like an actual kind of like arm piece. Yeah, I like the shape of that. And then this looks like a basic top. Like, I don't know if I love the quality of that. That kind of doesn't look like there's enough depth on that to me. This jumper is very cute. I really, really like the style of this jumper. I don't love this smock style. Probably good for like older Sims. Like, it's almost like, is it called like a Mew Mew? This clashy colour business I dislike strongly. So this looks like base game to me. The build by here looks like base game. This hairstyle's pretty cool. Is that new? Is this a new curly hair hairstyle? I'm glad to see more curly hair hairstyles if that's the case. That looks like the base game necklace to me, but like, is it base game? But like in a different colour, because I think it's always green normally. Yeah, I really, really like this jumper. This is a really cute design. I like the knit texture on that. So she's off, she's sulking because she really wants to be a fairy. This little fairy kind of moth picture here is very cute. This looks like it's kind of like a collection, you know, like a group thing. It doesn't look like you can place those individually. I like this kind of like branch design. That looks a bit low rendered to me, this one here. Like a low poly. Yeah, so she's really sad because she's really into nature. Like, that is a lot of houseplants. Satty Sims, I'm looking at you. This is you behaviour. Yeah, lots of plants. I mean, I did really love that, like, plant pack that we got, the plant kit. There's a little freezer bunny here. These candles are very cute. Look at this little guy. This little acorn is adorable. I really, really like that. This bed is gorgeous. I love the style of that bed. It kind of reminds me of that wedding arch that we've got. I do like this style of like that Windows base game, but I do like this kind of like natural wood style. Again, I feel like it'll complement like outdoor retreat, cottage living, realm of magic. Yeah, can't tell what's a planter and what's not. Like, I don't know what's just like a new plant, like a deco plant, and what's a planter. There's just a lot of plants. Um, yeah, this kind of table is the sort of thing I was expecting. Really nice as well for like hipster cafes and things. So here you go. This is one of the new planter designs. That looks very terracotta-y, so I'm hoping that we can maybe craft some of these with small businesses and like the pottery. It'd be really, really cool cross compatibility if we could do that. I'm not seeing, that kind of looks like it's got berries on it, but I don't know if that's just like a normal plant, like a house plant. Yeah, candles are cute. Mum and dad are here. Come to cheer her up. Like, hey, why don't you go to Discovery University and like learn biology or something? So she's got the, I don't know why she's so excited. She's got the aspiration nature nomad. So she just really loves nature, apparently. She's just a hippie. Again, that'll go really well with like eco lifestyle, you know, like green fiend, the trait, reduce and recycle. What else do they have there? Like, yeah, like freegan as well. All those eco lifestyle things go really, really well with that. So she's off. She's like, they've basically kicked her out of the house. They're like, listen, we're sick of paying the electricity bills for all the lights to keep your plants alive. Get out there, go to nature, leave this house. We want to turn this room into a den. So this is cool. I've got like a cool pirate ship. That kind of mermaid on the front is really beautiful. It'd be really nice as well. Like, again, I would have really liked to have seen a more kind of generalized kind of fantasy pack, sort of a Lord of the Rings style fantasy expansion. Would have been so cool with like medieval features, you know, like I don't know, like just like Sims medieval type stuff. And then to have had like updates to things like mermaids and aliens and plant sims, like that would have been really cool to have seen. Like just more oomph to the existing things and more like compatibility and more like streamlining between different occults, because like some things are available for some and then not for others. And I just think having a more flexible kind of sandbox occult system could have been a really, really cool feature. So again, I'm not a huge fan of them going so heavy on fairies specifically, and that feels like a bit of a tease. So this is like the normal neighborhood, right? They've got this big gnome statue, which again, I don't love how cartoonish that is. Like, it's not my favorite build style, you know. These trees look nice though, these blossom trees. I do like the style of like a fishing village. There's some kind of little stand here. This looks like the guy with like the pot on his head. Yeah, again, I'm not crazy about the clothes at this point, but again, that might change when I actually get them into cast myself. This is more my style. This feels a little bit more like the cottage living style. Just like, oh look, they're doing something. What are they doing back here? Again, this kind of looks like wellness to me. That's quite cute. That's a cute little outfit. That skirt's nice, actually. That's not base game, is it? It kind of reminds me of that base game skirt. I was wondering if it was like a swatch that I just forgot about. I'm always like this when we get a new pack. I'm like, is that new? Or am I imagining it? This to me, okay, it didn't mention it, so I didn't want to say too much. Look at these cute little like painted tattoos. Like, can we have tattoos for children now? Is that a thing? Maybe they're like stick-on tattoos. Right, watch what she does here, because she's like sprinkling flowers on it. And then she presses it. That looks to me like pressing flowers in a book to me. And so he's being bothered by like little so again, I wonder if this is like something that we're doing actively as like a mischief chaos gremlin, like where we're like bothering people in fae form, or if this is kind of like something that happens to us, like if that's an active or a passive thing, basically. Here's like, this is the cast for me. This is what I want from Cass. This bucket head. What else can we see here? Again, like he's got like the little like play wings. That's what I was saying. It looked like little fake fancy dress fairy wings to me. He's got those little tattoos on there again. And again, I wonder if it's like stick-on tattoos for kids. This dude with his socks and sandals. looking like Father Feckin' Winter. Look at his little flowers in his beard. He's got a nest on his head, like a bird's nest on his head. I'm vibing with this guy. I like this guy. I'm making friends with him, and hopefully, you know, like in Strangerville where you get the colander hat. You can like get one for your own sim. I want a bucket hat for my own sim. I hope I can unlock that because that is great. I love this guy. Again, really sims with a lot of character. NPCs, I love them. So what's this here? So she's getting hungry, okay, and she's like, do I want to eat a raw fish and risk getting the shits? I don't know. So she's clicking on the ground and she's going forage here. Again, I wonder, because it did say there was a skill connected to this. So I wonder kind of like what unlocks at what skill level. Because again, I wouldn't like to be able to do everything straight away, right? From like, I mean, forage here makes sense, you know, with like maybe low success as like skill level 1, because, you know, you can root in bins for food. You know, there are things that you can do already that would relate to forage type activities. So I wonder, for example, if you go around and you're kind of like picking berries off bushes, like gardening, would you get a low amount of forage skill for that? Like natural living skill, whatever it's called. I don't like if you haven't got any of the skill, I wouldn't like sleep here to be at like skill level 1, because I feel like it's infringing on the werewolf perks that you actually have to put effort in to unlock. So it's kind of like I prefer that to be like locked to a higher skill level than like skill level 1, basically. Otherwise it feels like it's cheating and infringing on werewolves. But you can, right? It does actually make sense when I kind of think about that though. Like, you can sleep on the ground. Anyone can sleep on the ground at any time, you know, but whether or not like whether or not it's comfortable, like whether or not you're going to get bitten by bugs, you know, the more you do it, the more you're going to know how to do it. So it could be like that sort of thing, right? She's getting a mushroom. I don't know why there's a mushroom. I wouldn't eat a mushroom that I foraged from sand, guys. That's probably not a good idea. I wonder as well, I really, really like some time with like outdoor retreat. So for example, cross compatibility wise, if I had like outdoor retreat installed, you know how like when you get a plant with the herbalism skill, like you don't know what it is and you have to eat it and like try it to figure out what it is. So it's kind of like you get something that looks like chamomile, but you test it and you figure out it's toxic chamomile. So that kind of like taste testing of things would be really cool. So okay, you've got a mushroom, is it edible or not? Like how do you, because I know, because again I've got like SAS survival guide books in the house, and so I know that say you were foraging something and you don't know if it's toxic, say you get a berry and you don't recognize it or you're not sure about it, or like some kind of herb, in real life what you're supposed to do is, if you like crush it between your fingers a bit and rub it on the inside of your arm, like, and you leave it for like maybe like 24-48 hours, and if a rash appears, it's probably toxic. But if you put it on your arm and you don't get a rash, then it's kind of like you can put it like on your lip a little bit, and then if you have a reaction, it's like don't have it. And then the next step, again, it's like you leave it like a day in between each one. The next step is kind of like you chew it up and then spit it out, and then you see if you have a reaction to that, and then finally you ingest a little bit of it. Again, don't take foraging advice from me. I've never done this personally myself, but I know that if you're not sure about eating something, that's the process you do. You have on your arm, on your lips, in your mouth, like, and then eat a little bit of it and see how you go. According to whoever wrote that random SAS book that I've got downstairs, which may or may not be credited advice, so please don't take poison advice off me because I don't know. Yeah, so is she gonna eat the frog? Oh my god, vampire behavior. Please don't eat the frog. I don't know if that's a new frog or not. I don't play with frogs enough. Oh my god, no, don't eat the frogs. That is disgusting. She doesn't like it either. She's like, that was a bad plan. I regret my life choices. If bank. So yeah, that little gnome's cute. It looks like it's doing a little dance, so it's probably something like, you know, seasons where, like, if it's that season's holiday and like the festival gnomes come and they kind of like demand a sacrifice and you've got to give them coffee or, you know, appease the gnomes, it's probably something like that. I would imagine. So now she's stinky. Apparently eating that frog made her really stinky. So I do like this, the idea of like you can go and bathe in water. I think it's going to be really good for, this is going to be good for like rags to riches gameplay. You know, like if you start off like without a lot, you start off with no belongings, you've got to survive. So seeing someone like James Turner and what he's going to do with this in terms of rags to riches is going to be really interesting. Again, I love rags to riches gameplay. I love freegan gameplay. I had like a whole Sims family doing freegan stuff before we even got like eco lifestyle. So it is my type of content, and I think it'll be useful as well. Like I say, if you were doing, again, this is kind of where I kind of feel like it's a missed opportunity to have a more broad appeal with this pack, because I feel like if you brand it as fairies so heavily, if you're like, it's the fairy expansion, which is not, it says Enchanted by Nature, but if you're like fairies, if someone doesn't like fairies, they're gonna go, oh, I'll skip that one. But if you went fae fantasy nature pack, which again I kind of do, Enchanted by Nature, like medieval-y vibes, you're going to appeal to more Sims players. Because I would use this, for example, if I was doing kind of a historical gameplay where, you know, you go through different time periods and you start out with that like Minecraft style forage nomad keep moving. So if you would play with like cavemen, you know, and you were like a hunter-gatherer, this would be really cool gameplay. But they haven't branded it as that. They've branded it as like a modern thing. Like this girl has left her modern home to go and do this. And it's like, why would you do that, you know? So again, I feel like maybe I would have branded this whole pack differently. I would have had a different approach. But if you looked at the comments, like below Sims posts, like official Sims posts, people would be like, where are the fairies? Where are the fairies? So I guess people have specifically been asking for fairies. But again, if I was going to do specifically fairies, I would have done a fucking game pack. I would have done a medieval fae expansion. I don't know. I'm not the boss of the Sims. Like I don't know. I don't know what the marketing has come back and said, you know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's just my opinion, right? Ailments, sonic sinuses. So yeah, she's got all these. I like that it looks natural, right? I like that it looks realistic, this illness that she has. So what does that mean? Are we going to see what that means? Look at this kind of like rock display. This is really, really cute. Again, like, I feel like I've seen this kind of clothing. It doesn't feel new or special or something that I needed to me. The clothing seems really, I mean, that t-shirt could be nice, like maybe I'll see. I don't know, the clothing feels a bit meh. I don't know, it's kind of like, it's not trendy modern, but it's not kind of like crunchy cottagecore either. So yeah, this I think is Apothecary Todd. So she's asking him, I assume for some medicine. She's like, hey, I'm all gross and spotty and sneezy. Have you got some medicine? But he's saying, so he's giving her a task. So this is really similar to, I think we first saw this with Cottage Living, where you go to the local kind of townspeople, like Mrs. Crumplebottom and people like that, and you say, hey, have you got a job for me? And they'll give you these kind of like gigs, like these side hustle gigs, and they'll say, hey, go and run this errand for me and I will give you something in return. So this feels really, really similar to that system, which they have used in other packs as well. So I reckon this is that. If you harvest these ingredients, I will reward you with a cure. So you can't just buy it from him, you have to run an errand, which I think I would have liked to have just bought it straight up, to be honest. Because that could be really, really repetitive if you keep getting the same bloody illness. But I guess you can like make it yourself as well. So harvest petals. So this just looks like a daisy bush to me. This looks like a new plant. But again, I don't know if we can like plant it and grow it ourselves or if it's like harvest only. Bottle Moody Shrub Potion. Again, I would have really, really would love to have seen things like, you know, we've got like wolfsbane in the game and chamomile, but I would have loved to have seen like saffron or ginger or like, I don't know, green tea or something like that. Like, I wish we had more realistic plants. And that's not to say that they're not in the pack. I'm just not seeing them at this point. Deliver ingredients to Todd. His hair's interesting. I probably won't use that hairstyle, I'm going to be honest, unless I'm specifically playing with fairies. Maybe some kind of like, and again, this is where I'm like, I wish abilities were less tied to specific occults, because I would love to have like a nature witch, you know, like if I had a spellcaster and I wanted to use a lot of the fairy type features with her, like what is linked to fairies and what is just like an open feature that any sim can use, I think is what I kind of want to know. So he's making alchemy. Not alchemy, sorry. Look at the gloves! Oh my god, I've wanted these gloves for so long. Actual woolen gloves? Are you kidding me? I feel like I've been going crazy that they've not added these, because we've had gloves in the game for ages, like since base game, and we have those like plasticky looking long gloves, and we've got loads of like sports looking gloves and like a few leather gloves, and I'm like, where are my mittens? And I would have thought we'd have got them in like Nifty Knitting. I hope we can, that'd be really cool as well if we had like cross compatibility with Nifty Knitting and we could like knit those gloves. But yeah, I was like, we got Nifty Knitting, and I was like, where are my mittens? If I have like crocheting books up there, like crocheting magazines, and it's all about the mittens. I can't believe, like, how many years ago did like Nifty Knitting come out, and it's taken us this long to get like fucking knitted fingerless gloves. I'm glad we've got them. His nails look really dirty. I wonder if that's like a new nail varnish. Same girl. My nails are quite long at the moment, and I keep getting like food underneath. Yeah, I've got like, I think that's makeup underneath my nail there. I'm so gross. Chocolate or something. Okay, so these stone walls are really pretty looking, but again, we've got stone walls in the game. They're just like the half height walls, so they've given this kind of ruins look to it. That's the apothecary table, I guess. Apothecary table. This is kind of like a little hobbit home, which is adorable. I think they've just done this by like extending the roof out, but that's very cute. I love the style of it. Again, am I seeing new plants? Are they new? Wait. Are they new plants? I hope we've got new plants. Are these new? This purple one and pink one. They don't look familiar to me. If you recognise these plants, please let me know in the comments below. This looks like the basic kind of, is it lavender that we have in the game already? That looks like roses. This looks like daisies. That looks like it could be new. But again, it could be houseplants. They could be planting houseplants outdoors. So I don't know. Again, I wish we had like sort of like green tea and like what else as well. Like I have a lot of herbal teas. Oh, so the animation for that is actually really, really cute. Let me go back to that. Look at how cute this animation is. Wait. It's almost like, you know, like the infant animation where they roll over. It's very cute. Look at her. Oh, that is, I think I'm into it. I think I'm into like the what's it called? Like natural living skill? Is that what they called it? This is pretty. That looks like a massive window. A fireplace. I do really like this like leafy natural wood thing. I'm probably going to use Build By quite a lot. I think it's really pretty. I'm definitely going to use that in like Granite Falls, Henford on Bagley, Glimmerbrook. Like, I'm all about that. So it'd be really cool as well if we could turn, you know, the woman from Realm of Magic, Elphaba? She has fairy vibes to me. It'd be really cool to have like Elphaba be a fairy, but also have her be able to do like the spellcaster magic. But I don't think it's going to be like hybrid like that. I wouldn't imagine. It'd be cool if it was trait based. Like you could have like somebody who's like one parent's a spellcaster and one parent's a fairy. So you have like a fairy spellcaster. Like that looks like, I bet that's that simoleon one they were talking about, because it looks like simoleons on her skin. So yeah, she looks like she's running like a little at-home business. Those cords are cute. Okay, this is the first thing that I've seen where I'm like, love that about Cass. These are really, really cute. Love those. Yeah, so she's got, these look cute. I don't know. Do you know what? One thing that really bothered me about Realm of Magic, and I feel like I can't forgive them for, is that they used those basic stupid potion bottles that were like base game potion bottles, and they looked like scientific potion bottles. Like they were the ones that we got in like Get to Work, and I was like, are you kidding me? Because Sims 3, when you did like magics and you got the potions, you had like gorgeous potion bottles. And like again, Baldur's Gate, which is just peak for me, like the bottles that you have are so pretty. And I think something for me about like magic and like fantasy stuff is like it has to be aesthetically appealing. Like that's a huge draw for me. And so the fact that they use those really stupid potion bottles, I'm like, you could have made new potion bottles. So the fact that they've actually got new models for the like apothecary ingredients, I think, because I don't think this is attached. This looks like a shelf with things placed on it just because they're so uniform. I reckon these are the actual apothecary stuff. Yeah, I don't, and they're everywhere. So I don't think these are attached to the shelves. I think these are the things that you make with the apothecary. They're okay. These are cute. I like that little box that they had. Yeah, look, Simoleon Fever. So she's coughing up money? Do you think they cough up money and get like little money piles? This is a really cute little animation, the kind of mortar and pestle. That looks a tiny bit scientific, but okay. This little box, this is really cute. But I wonder if that's just attached to the animation, or if it's like the interaction, or if it's something that you can actually put on shelves, because that box is very much like to my aesthetic taste. This little like headband thing that she's got on, this little dealio, is very cute. I tried to put my hair up actually because it was kind of curly at the end, but then I got rained on. Just looks sad. Ailment Creation Impulse. So you're, look, it's all painty. So he like just wants to create. He's got the impulse to create something. I hope that when you get that, again, cross-compatibility wise, I hope that any type of creative activity satisfies that. So whether you're knitting, cross-stitching, painting, writing music, you know, anything from any pack, I hope satisfies that. And she's like, hey, this bush is probably good. Look at her freckles. Are they new freckles? I don't know. She looks cute. Yeah, so I guess she's like, hey, that bush will help with that. Again, I like that there's a few fantasy bushes, but I feel like I would have also liked the ability to make like herbal teas and things like that, and had like those basic ingredients. I always feel let down, especially with like so many packs having such a focus on gardening, and then we don't get new like gardening things. So annoying. Like, stop giving me new feckin' recipes if you don't give me the ingredients. So I'm not into the fairy house. I didn't play with the fairy house in The Sims 3. Just not bothered by it. This is me. Tag yourself. I'm this fairy. I'm this bitch. Is she like a fairy godmother or something? Or is she Mother Nature? That dress is okay. Again, tiny bit overstyled for my taste. These little dungarees are cute though. Those boots are cute. He's got feathers in his beard. Like, sorry, flowers in his beard. Yeah, so look, she's got a flower crown. This looks like maybe a necklace. I think she had new earrings on as well. I do like that hairstyle. That hairstyle's really pretty. So she's gone little. I wonder if this is like the emotion thing that they mentioned. Like fairies manipulating emotions. Those boots look quite cute. Oh, I don't know about that. Do I like those dungarees? I like how they're transparent. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't like those wings. She's got different wings though. She looks like she's got almost like monarch butterfly wings. So I guess there's going to be like a wing selection. I like that they're semi-transparent. Again, I would love like a wingless version. Let me actually go back to those fairies that showed up and like, do they all have wings? So yeah, she's got like this monarch butterfly style wing. Again, I don't know my butterflies. Like, don't correct me on that. I'm just guessing. She's like a pregnant one, I think. She's got little wings. She's got like dragonfly wings. And then like he's got like, they're cool. I like these. They kind of look like raggedy. Yeah, they're okay. I feel like the fairies are very, very girly. Like, again, they're kind of like Barbie fairies, which is okay. I would have loved some kind of like darker, like impish type fairies. Like a bit more gothy type, like gothic style fairies, I guess. Like her wings are like tiny, and maybe it's because she's a new fairy. Maybe your wings get bigger like as you level up as a fairy. She's pretty. Smash. Like, they are not carrying her weight. She's flying with magic. Those wings are doing nothing. That little tree stick thing is quite cute. I do like how these areas look. Look, there's like a rainbow. That's like a pool. I thought it's like, it could be shiny ground, but I think it's water. Kind of reminds me of Life and Death, where you have like that special pool where you can kind of like bathe in it and have like transcendent experience. This is quite a cute little dress, but again, it does feel very, it's not bad. Like, the style of it's not bad. It just feels very young, I would say, which maybe The Sims is going for a younger audience, which is fine. Again, I would look at what's in popular culture at the moment, and I'd look at things like, I mean, it looks quite Fern Gully, you know, which is not bad. I loved Fern Gully. But again, if you look at kind of like the success of Baldur's Gate and kind of like, again, maybe I'm just not seeing the references. Like, are there any like fairy films out or anything like that? I would have preferred something more medieval in style, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. Again, that's just my personal taste. I can't be salty about it because people like different things. Build By looks really nice. Clothing, not convinced about yet. I am into this kind of like, let me just kind of like put it at normal speed and we'll just let it play while I kind of like wrap up my thoughts on this. I love nature stuff, I do. That's what I did with fairies in The Sims 3. I used them for gardening. To me, I think of the films like Fantasia and kind of nature fairies, so it makes perfect sense to me that they would combine nature and fairies. I'm probably not going to play with fairies very much, to be honest. It's just not an occult that appeals to me massively. I probably will now and again. It'll probably be like a side game where I play with fairies if I'm in the mood to kind of play with occults. But it's not my number one choice. It's like I don't really play with mermaids, you know? Happy for the people who really wanted them. I hope that the way that they've been handled is something that satisfies that craving. I really, really like this whole like herbology and apothecary system. Like, the illnesses and the cures looks really interesting to me, especially this idea of like, you can get sick, but there's a benefit and a negative to it. I'm really interested to kind of like see more about that. I think this kind of natural living skill is going to be really, really useful for like people who want to play off the grid or people who want to play with like historical games. Again, I wish that we had a slightly less modern angle. Some of it does feel a little bit samey to stuff we've seen already. However, I do think that can also sometimes be complementary, to be able to take different packs and combine them and get a deeper experience. Really glad to see Apothecary top back, like classic, legend. What else as well? Like, it's interesting. I'm interested to see more about this like emotional balance thing and the look system. I kind of want to know more about that, because that sounds like something that might affect you on a day-to-day basis. You know, even if you want to play a realistic game. I think that's my question. If you don't want to play with fairies and you want realism, how much use will you get out of this pack? Will it be something that affects you like in your daily life? Will illnesses get really, really annoying? They're not called illnesses, they're called ailments, aren't they? So yeah, currently this isn't like a pack that I am super excited for. It's just not quite to my taste. Really happy for the people who did want fairies though, because I know there was a really loud vocal group who were like, fairies, fairies, fairies. You know, it was the occult that was particularly stand out to feel like it was missing. Yeah, I can see why they've done this. It feels a bit young for my taste, but I probably will find ways to utilize different aspects of the pack myself. I think the problem that the Sims 4 team have right now is justifying why fairies is in an expansion pack where all the other occults got game packs. apart from like mermaids, right? But they weren't the main focus of the pack. So having an occult as the main focus of a pack feels like a brave choice to me, especially because we haven't been getting game packs anymore. So it's kind of like, was this a game pack that they thought, hey, we see potential here and we're going to expand this into an expansion pack? What's the deal, Sims 4 team? I think people are going to have questions about that. And again, I'm not saying anything. I didn't. Who knows? But yeah, just thinking about the questions that I know you guys are probably going to have with this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you happy to have fairies? Are you not bothered about fairies? What's your favourite thing that you've seen so far? Is there anything that you're concerned about? Please let me know in the comment box down below. I would love to address any thoughts, concerns you have when I actually get my hands on this pack, which again, to be discovered. But yeah, if you've got questions, let me know. If you've got questions specifically about cross expansion pack compatibility, let me know, because I always love to do those deep dives. Yeah, just questions down below, get them in early, because it gives me more time to explore and discover and focus on those things. Thank you for spending this time with me. Let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna go because I'm tired. Again, I've been sweating in the Trafford Centre all day, so I'm over it. Take care of your faces. Make some wishes, and I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.